While making this video, I considered over 300 prop firms and I decided just what are the top 7, the best prop firms out there that I would actually consider giving my money to and signing up with. I want to try out just getting straight into it. This is the first prop firm that I want to cover, which in this case is Bright Funded. So Bright Funded has quite a bit of pros as well as cons to it. So I really like how this prop firm has MetaTrader 5, it has CTrader and DXTrade for people who are forced to use it, of course. And then for their two-step Bright option, this is one where the overall maximum loss is 8% and their day loss is 4%, where the $100,000 account is 477 euros. Compare that to their two-step Classic, which gives you an extra 2% max overall loss, as well as 1% more on the daily loss. For just a couple of dollars more, this is definitely going to be worth it in my opinion, despite having the slightly higher profit target in just phase 1. That's why I think the Classic version, despite being $20 more, I think this one is definitely the better option. So I would not actually recommend their namesake, their Bright mode for Bright Funded. I think that one is not a good deal in comparison to their Classic. So definitely go with their Classic if you're choosing between the two. Their payout structure is where it's 30 days once you're funded for the first payout. That being said, I actually do like their loyalty program, this Trade to Earn. This page is pretty much talking about how you can get free evaluation, a 6% profit target, so it's easier to pass, or 100% profit share, and so 12% total drawdown, 6% daily drawdown. While there is no fixed deadline, the evaluation process at Bright Funded is entirely performance-based. You can move forward when you meet the objectives at your own pace. So these are a minimum of 5 trading days, and there's no time limit for all of them. It doesn't matter if you are on the 2-step or the 1-step, they are the exact same for stage 1. This is a really good option to consider. Next up, we have Blueberry Funded. Blueberry Funded is a broker-backed, industry-leading prop firm where they have up to $2 million in simulated capital, at least according to them. We're going to get more into that later. And they also have no time limit and have instant funding accounts. But they are choosing to not allow US citizens. So at least for myself, being a US citizen, I would not personally be able to access a Blueberry Funded account. This Instant Elite program in particular is quite amazing. It has no daily drawdown at all. It has no profit target. Of course, it's an instant funding one. They have no consistency rule, but they do have a maximum risk per trade. You have to pay attention to this maximum risk per trade of 1.5%. What is an active trading day? Well, it is one that has at least 0.5% realized profit. So you have to have that much per day. Keep in mind that's not per trade. So you have to have 5 profitable days minimum, and each profitable day has to be fairly significant. So in other words, you really have to have quite a significant amount of gains on your account to even qualify for a payout to begin with. I would not pick this 100K. I would definitely go with the 50K instant elite option, although it is significantly more expensive than this one. And at least for me personally, there is absolutely no reason that you should ever use this normal option in comparison to the prime option. The prime option is directly better in almost every way. So at least in my opinion, I would never want to choose their normal one. I would definitely choose the prime one. And this is a very compelling option. And this offer is the main reason why I've even included it on this list. They have a great scaling plan, but it takes a long time to actually scale up. So that does scale up to 2 million. That is the only way to get to 2 million. So I saw that your max allocation is $400,000 from when you're buying. So if you are buying your accounts, you can have up to 200K accounts at one time, which is quite a bit. And that's definitely something that I appreciate as a trader. The next top prop firm is, of course, Eightcap. And Eightcap is a new player in the prop firm space. However, because it's broker backed and because of a couple other things I'm going to show you, I definitely have a high degree of trust in this firm. They also have a very unique feature, which is this day trader challenges. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that so I can show you what that is, just because I think it's the most interesting part that really sets them apart from these other firms. This is such an interesting and unique prop firm challenge that will be over, and you'll either win or lose within a maximum time of 8 hours. Now they can also be as quick as 1 hour if you want. So how does this work? You get to choose how much you want to risk, from anywhere from $5, a very approachable starting point, all the way up to $500. And you get to either 2x, 5x, or 10x that amount. Of course, if you 10x that amount, your profit target goes up and your drawdown goes down. So it gets a harder challenge, of course, if you want to multiply your payout by more. I would definitely recommend starting on the lower side if you are new to this system. That being said, there are a couple of very key caveats. You have a profit allocation system here, which is very, very important to look at. You cannot win this from 2 trades. It is a minimum amount of 3 trades. The reason why is there's a symbol limit of 40%. So you cannot make more than 40% of your profit from a single symbol, or 60% from a single asset class. This is the largest maximum total loss limit on any one phase. That is a very generous 8% there. And that is definitely something that I would highly consider when making the choice of whether or not to choose this 8-cap challenge. So that ratio is pretty close between the maximum total loss limit to the profit target, which for a 1 phase is quite incredible. This is one of the main reasons why I've selected to have 8-cap as one of the top prop firms on here, along with, of course, being very trustworthy. And some huge news, as you can see from the top here, they have TradingView. You can trade directly on TradingView with 8-cap, which is quite amazing. In my opinion, the best trading platform out there. If it were up to me, I would choose the 1 phase personally. I think this 1 phase is quite amazing. It's very high end, especially with that very generous maximum loss limit for a 1 phase challenge. So if you are interested in checking out with 8-cap challenges, make sure for either the 1 phase or the 2 phase, especially if you want to have a free bonus, you go onto the, let's say the 100K account size, and you just click on the dollar amount there, and it will know what your dollar amount is automatically. It'll lock that in here. And all you want to do is on like coupon section, you want to type in VVS. And once you apply this coupon, it'll auto select for you the earlier payout add-on. And as you can see, it costs $0. So there's no additional fee for that earlier payout option. I'm also working on getting additional benefits for traders as well. Moving over to the next prop firm. This one is Goat Funded Trader. This is a long-running, well-known firm. They have MT5 available, and they also have something very similar to Blueberry, where you can have up to $2 million in simulated capital. I would heavily recommend the GOAT, especially including the price, because for me at least, 2% less maximum loss limit alone is not worth it. But for me personally, I would definitely choose the GOAT option for the 2-step challenge. Moving on to the instant option, there's either GOAT or Pro. On the instant GOAT one, there is no phase 1 target because it's an instant funded account. They have 3% daily loss limit and 6% maximum total loss limit. Moving over to their Pro account option, they have, again, no phase 1 target because it's instantly funded, and they have a maximum daily loss limit of nothing. We like to see no daily loss limit in these instant fund accounts. That's definitely a good thing, especially since the price is so similar on both accounts. I definitely am liking this Pro one a lot more. Even though it's 2% less maximum loss limit, I think that could be worth it depending on if you care about a daily loss limit or not. Both of these are very compelling options. One of the coolest parts about GOAT has a huge caveat, and that is if you are interested in buying multiple accounts at once, you get essentially a double discount, and you get an additional up to 12% off if you purchase 5 accounts at once. But that comes with a huge caveat that they don't mention anywhere on this page. And I asked, can you trade all of them at once? And the answer is an absolute no. While you can trade all of your accounts simultaneously, they have to be all under your own account, and you cannot copy trades between these accounts. And at least for me, that's a huge drawback. And I consider this a hidden rule that I wish they made a lot more clear, either in the FAQ or especially on the checkout page when you're considering buying 5 accounts at once. So GoatGuard is a very interesting system. This is something that is on all of the funded accounts only. So how does GoatGuard work? It applies to funded accounts only. GoatGuard will, in most cases, automatically close all open trades across all symbols, which I find really interesting. This is a soft breach. However, If you have even a single breach by the GOAT guard, your profit split is reduced all the way down to 50%. So although it's a soft breach, it's only a soft breach at first. If you breach a second time, instead of a 50% profit split, you now get nothing. Your account is breached. So that's something that you should definitely be aware of when trading with GOAT Fund Trader. Moving on to a very well-known, amazing prop firm. Ment Funding has not refused any payouts since its founding in 2021. They have never ever refused any payouts for any reason for anyone getting a funded account. My favorite feature of Ment is they have multiple account sizes all the way up to $1 million for their standard and $2 million with some extra caveat. The reason why I mentioned that the extra caveats and the specificity there is on their $2 million account. This is the only prop firm that I know of that has a $2 million account. But that $2 million account does come with a consistency rule as well as static drawdown. All accounts have static drawdown, but the $2 million account is the only account from Ment Funding that has a consistency rule of 35%. That being said, for me personally, the highest one that I would recommend is the $1 million account if you can afford it, which is, again, quite expensive, but cheaper in comparison to the $2 million account. Still a massive account of $1 million, single phase challenge, no consistency rule, static drawdown, maximum loss of 6% and max day loss of 5%, which I believe is the highest maximum day loss in the industry for a one phase account, and a very fair 10% target. It has been tried and true, and they also offer account doubling all the way up to 5 million. As we saw from Blueberry and Goat, they all offer up 2 million. It is 5 million, and it's way faster and actually realistic somewhat to get there, depending on your account size. You have a one-step evaluation, no time limits. You get to trade your way. You can use EAs, news, weekends. It all is included, which is why I think that Ment Funding is arguably the most premium prop firm out there. Now, they do have a 6% static drawdown, which is amazing. Static drawdown is the better option. It does not move with you. You do not get punished for making profits. This is something that Ment actually used to not have, but with this addition, it just makes me even more compelled and is even easier to recommend than ever before. They have a 75% base profit split, but you can also pay more if you want a 90% profit split, and payouts are 14-day cycles. However, the first payout is the opposite of most firms. We saw from most of these firms in the past, such as Bright Funded, for example, their first payout is 30 days from your first one. Ment is day 0, day 1 of your funded account. Again, if it were up to me, I would highly recommend maxing out, if you can afford it, of course, on the $1 million account size. And if you can't afford it, no worries. Their other ones are great too. But overall, I think Ment definitely deserves to be one of the top prop firms out there. Next up is the firm that needs no introduction, FTMO. This is the firm that I first started off with, and this is a firm that I personally got funded with around 8 years ago, and since then has been making leaps and bounds of improvements and just consistently getting better and better over time. So instead of covering all the basic things that everyone already knows about FTMO, I want to jump straight to the lesser known things, the things that I haven't talked about, at least on my channel yet. And those are the huge things over here on ftmo.owanda.com. FTMO purchased Owanda. They now own the United States brokerage Owanda. And because of that, they're now able to offer United States accounts. So this is pretty amazing to see. Just $500 now for a $100,000 account, which truthfully isn't even super competitive with the overall landscape out there. But coming from such a reputable firm that is now a broker-backed firm, definitely it is worthy of your consideration. But something that I want to point out that a lot of people look over and don't recognize is how good of a deal FTMO's largest account sizes are in comparison to their smaller ones. As it relates to FTMO, I cannot in good conscience recommend their $10,000 account size. And the reason for that is because for $100, you are getting such a relatively small account size in comparison to their $100,000 one, which is literally half the cost on a per account size basis. So I can easily recommend FTMO, especially with this discount for the $100,000 and the $200,000 account sizes. A couple of the amazing things about FTMO, however, is the new one-step challenge that they have. At least it's new for me on this channel. I haven't covered this before. The one step is very unique in that they offer 10% max loss, which is unheard of for one steps. That is amazing that they are able to offer that. The biggest downside between choosing one step versus two step is the 3% daily loss, down from 5%. So that is a pretty significant cut on the daily. But other than that, this is a significantly better account in my opinion. The profit target is just 10%. So it's 5% less total in comparison to phase two. And it is a little bit cheaper other than the current discount that we have going on right now. In addition to all of this, FTMO is known for having a lot of other things like their academy, their psychology course, and so on. FTMO also now has TradingView because of a one. In addition to that, they also have the platform MetaTrader 5, which needs no introduction as well. But if it were up to me, I would highly recommend choosing TradingView, and I would take advantage of that. So FTMO definitely deserves to remain as one of the top spots among all trading prop firms out there. The last, but certainly not least, prop firm on our top 7 best prop firm list is none other than 4Traders. This is an absolutely incredible prop firm where they not only have Forex, they not only have futures, they also have a crypto account, and one of the first firms that I've ever seen that has a prediction market as well, which is very interesting, but outside of the topic of this video. So getting into the Forex side of things for 4Traders, they have various options, including one step, two step, three step, instant, and pay after you pass, which is a little bit of a misnomer, but we'll get into that in just a second. So for the one steps, they have account sizes ranging from $36 for a 6K account up to $351 for a $100,000 account. Now, this is one of the most economical prop firms I've ever seen, which is why one of the big reasons why I wanted to include it on this list. For their one step fast, they have a profit target of 9%, and that is before you have a maximum total loss of 6% or 3% per day. You're going to want to go with the static option where your max drawdown no longer trails with you. And that is another premium feature that 4Traders also has. 6% here, profit target of 10%, 3% here. This is definitely the better of the two versions of the one step that I would personally go for. Also, I'm not sure how long it's going to last, but at least for now, 4Traders has this quite amazing deal where it's not only 25% off of their listed price, which is this price. It's not 25% additional off from this one. That is 25% off, but it's a second account for free, which is quite amazing of a deal right now. So definitely check the description below for the best deals as it comes to this firm, as well as all the other firms that I've talked about in this video combined. In addition to that, this firm has a two-step option. It is only one option, which is kind of the opposite of what we've seen from most of the other firms on this list that have multiple challenges types in general, where two-step is usually the one where they have the most of them. For 4Traders that only have one option, just the class, which is nothing to scoff off. This is a great challenge as well. It is a max drawdown of 8% static with a 4% daily drawdown and 2% drawdown protection on your funded account, paid bi-weekly, and 1-30 leverage, where you cannot trade through the news, but you can hold over the weekend on your funded account. And then we have their three-step, which as you can see is a pretty interesting option where it's only 4% per step until you get to your third step, which is 6% there. So as far as three steps go, this is definitely one that I would be considering, especially for how cheap the price is. I'm not someone who likes trading three steps so much in general. However, just the lowness of these targets is quite great. So you get only have to make 4%, and then 6%. That's a pretty great deal. The caveats is that you only get a time limit of 180 days, and it's a 5% maximum drawdown amount total. So that is actually pretty competitive and pretty difficult. So I wouldn't personally choose this account. The next options are the instant accounts. And these are the most interesting ones to me, at least, because these are the only ones that at least as far as Forex goes, that has a consistency rule. So the instant account does have a consistency rule that I think will bite a lot of traders that don't notice it and don't recognize what that means. And that basically means that you cannot make more than 15% profit from a single one of your trading days in comparison to your total profit thus far. And until that's satisfied, you cannot have a payout. And just the way the math works out, if you're a perfect trader, it would be a minimum of 7 days. But in a more realistic trading setting, it would probably take you significantly longer than 7 days with this instant account to actually be able to earn a payout. That being said, their Instant Pro is very compelling. Now, it's a significantly worse deal for the amount of funding that you get for the price. However, that comes with no consistency rule. So pretty much all of my complaints about the last account are all solved for this one. So is that more premium experience? But at least for me, I am someone who likes to pay for the premium things in life in general, especially as it comes to Propfirm. And that is why I would personally recommend the Instant Pro, despite being more expensive, over the Instant account, especially if you can take advantage of this amazing offer right now where you can have 2 accounts for the price of 25% off the normal price of a single account. That's pretty amazing. Last but not least is the pay after you pass. The reason why I was saying this is a misnomer earlier is just because you still have to pay something up front. It's not free to take and then you pay later. You have to pay an activation fee once you're funded. The profit target is extremely generous. It is only 2%. It's almost an instant funding account. It used to be 4, but now it's only 2% that you have to make on your profit account before you hit 6% max drawdown or 3% per day. So I asked, if I have 300K challenge accounts, can I copy trade between all 3 of them via my own local trade copier? Yes, you can. So that is the maximum allocation you can have at once is $300,000. They make it really clear here that you can use a copy trader, unlike with your GOAT accounts. So you can trade the same exact trades for $300,000 worth of accounts. And that is very, very powerful. My verdict on this firm is that it is very trustworthy. They've had millions of dollars, almost $10 million in paid out rewards to traders. They've been around for a while. I have personally visited their office in the Czech Republic, and it very much deserves to make the list of the top 7 best prop firms. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on what you thought about these top 7 best prop firms. I also want to hear your list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll do my best to read and respond to as many as possible. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.